Hello and welcome back to Granted Gardens. Today we are participating in a challenge that was put out by Megan Wolterman at the Wolterman Homestead. And it is just basically an overview of kind of where you're at and where you plan on being. So we've got 5 questions we're going to go through here. I guess I'm going to answer first and then we'll let Tyler answer as well. So the first question is, what is the new plant you decided to grow this year or are growing? And mine is going to be my loofahs. I'm super excited about them. It's something that we have never tried before. We've never, like outside of food, we've really never dabbled into anything. So if you're not familiar with loofahs, it's literally like a shower loofah, like the natural version, not the stuff you get from the dollar store. And they grow on a vine and you can chop them up and use them in soaps, or you can just use them as shower loofahs. A lot of people even mentioned from like a natural remedy using them to scrub dishes and stuff like that. So I'm really excited about them. We don't have any like actual loofahs set yet, and I'm following this thing on Facebook that's like the Loofah Challenge 2020, and I'm looking at everyone's loofahs and I feel like we're really behind, but it's an experiment and I'm really excited about it. So for you, what is a new plant you decided to grow this year?
The only new thing, besides like, we've grown peppers, tomatoes, stuff like that. Got the pawpaws in the ground, that's something new. I started trying to grow ginger, but the dogs have since killed it. It's actually right beneath the camera, dead, slain sideways out of a baking pan. But besides that, probably echinacea, jalapenos, beets. I don't think we tried those last year, but they did pretty well. Onions, we did those this year, and they're coming up. Black-eyed Susans, grape kiwis,
Yep.
corn.
Corn.
Growing a lot of new things this year, actually. We're trying to expand and see what we can do, but also keeping in mind that we don't want to waste space on stuff that will only grow a meal's worth of food.
Yeah.
This year, I think we've been trying to hit the mark of being able to store a lot of food to see how much we can actually make in a season. Not getting very far so far, but we'll see.
And I think to your point too, it's not necessarily new stuff that we're growing, but we're growing different varieties of things that we've never tried before. And like I said in a lot of our videos before, we started everything from seed this year. So we are also working on dinner, so he has to get up. So that's one thing that I think is new to us, is just being able to grow from seed and have a variety, like quite a selection of different varieties of vegetables, which is really cool, because if you go and you shop at, say, like Home Depot or something like that for your seed starts or your plant starts, you don't really get to choose variety. So this is something that we've had the opportunity to embark on a new journey just by growing different varieties. And so I think that's what we're the most excited about this year, is that we're getting to try stuff that we literally never tried before. Peppers is an example. Tomatoes, the varieties of tomatoes that we are growing this year across the board is stuff that we've literally never tasted before. So, okay, so question number 2. What is your most adventurous garden goal this year? I would say for me, just the sheer mass of what we're growing. This is different. I mean, last year, Tyler added to our garden space quite a bit. So just the pure mass of what we're doing, I think, is pretty adventurous. I recognize this more so on watering nights when I realize how long it takes to water. So I think just the abundance of what we're growing would be my answer.
What's the question?
What is the most adventurous garden goal this year?
Pawpaws. The tropical flower bed in the front, I think, is pretty ambitious.
I don't think we have that on video yet.
It is nothing but clay poopy doops dirt that we have not amended at all. But the Back to Eden ground
Yeah,
garden I
Which
think
actually
is
turned out
ambitious.
pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, it grew some beets about the size of tennis balls,
Yeah.
so that's pretty good.
Yeah.
The onion's not doing so good. The
Well,
kale,
I've-
dead. Cabbage, bugs.
We got a couple good cabbages out of it so far, though.
2 cabbages
That's
out of
worth
8.
it. Question number 3. What was a goal you had earlier this year that you've already failed at? I can jump right into this one. We, back in the spring, kind of cleared out a couple spaces of extra gardens that we were going to put back in the woods. And I had like all these plans for what I wanted to do with those garden beds. Tyler put a ton of work into clearing them out, and then I ended up hurting my foot, and it was impossible for me to get back there. So it's all overgrown at this point. Those gardens did not
4
manifest.
foot tall weeds.
Yeah.
Taller than the fence.
Those gardens did not turn into anything this year, unfortunately, which I'm sad about because I think that there's a lot of space back there that we can utilize. But it was a fail for this year, but it's still an opportunity for next.
They're not looking good, but they do look pretty cool because it's like Chernobyl back there. It's like somebody had this grand scheme to have a sweet garden back there, but then it's been overtaken by nature. I'll go back there and take a picture and we'll put it in right after this segment, and you'll see it's like vines are taking over the fence. The fence you can barely see. It's 4 foot tall weeds. I just went back there and mowed the area around it, so now the weeds are dead around there. Still crazy inside.
Yeah.
It's like somebody grows weeds back there.
Yeah. So do you have any different answer or?
Yeah, I had this grand scheme. We've got comfrey tea going. I've got the vermicompost that we've been doing going, and I think we've used none of that.
I used some of the vermicomposting on our zooks, but it didn't really help.
I think they were already on their way out.
Probably.
But I had this grand scheme this year to stick with fertilizing on a more regular basis. Life happens, and we have not been able to do that. I've got work, class, she's got work.
Yeah, it's hard to keep
Time
keep
flies.
up.
And you can't do everything in one weekend. Well, you probably could, but
We
got other stuff.
try. We do a lot in a weekend. I don't know what you're talking about. But it's still hard. Okay, question number 4. What's a non-goal this season that I'm glad happened anyway?
What's a non-goal? Something about non-bread?
The greenhouse. The greenhouse
The
was
rain
a
chain fountain.
non-goal.
Just been done today.
The greenhouse was a non-goal. I mean, it was something that we definitely had envisioned for the future, but we weren't really sure how we were going to get there. And we were blessed by our neighbors, and we now have a greenhouse. So I think that one is like the biggest thing. We were not expecting that at all, and we have it, and just making it happen and making it usable, I think was not expected, but a blessing.
Yep. I got nothing.
You said rain chain.
Yeah. Generally, she tells me to do something, and it happens. That's usually how it goes.
So
if it's a
backstory.
non-goal, something just appears, and then I do it, just because I have the motivation that day, and it gets done.
We got a
I got a
rain
lot of
chain.
non-goals.
We got a rain chain. We weren't able to use it, and so Tyler actually literally just today, so we don't have it on videos yet, built like a system for us.
A rain chain fountain.
A rain chain fountain. So we could utilize that, and it looks beautiful, and I'm super excited. But we're gonna try and get some stuff planted in there and everything before we show it. But
Herbs.
it's awesome. Okay, and the last question is, what is the 5-year long-term goal for your garden?
I'll answer this because I'm making dinner, so I gotta go and do the things. But 5 years, this garden, out of here, more space, more in-ground space, less containers, probably still the same amount of containers, if not more. But probably not gonna be here trying to go somewhere else, maybe with a longer season. More in-ground beds, more beds, more beds, more beds, more plants, more plants,
And maybe some extra animals.
more livestock, chickens.
More chickens.
If I could get one of those dwarf curly-haired cows,
Yeah.
if any of y'all got free curly-haired dwarf cows,
Let
I'll
us
love you
know.
forever.
So I entirely agree. Bye. We definitely have bigger plans than what is possible where we are. And obviously, we've got plans for life in general that would take us into a more property. I'm definitely looking for 5 acres or more. I refuse to go with anything under 5 acres. We want to be able to have, like you mentioned, more in-ground beds, preferably a longer growing season, which Maryland, we're kind of on the border. Like, it's not too bad here, but it would be nice to have a longer growing season. And to just have like the space for if we were ready to inherit some different types of livestock, for us to be able to dabble in that as well. So a house with possibly more, a barn or larger spaces outside of that, outbuildings, that would be awesome. Definitely looking for something with potentially a stream or a pond. That's kind of what our goals are. So it's been a lot of fun doing this. I love doing collaborations. I love teaming up. I love answering some of these questions because I think that it gives you guys a different perspective on who we are and what we're doing. And it's nice to see the garden, but I think it's also really great to build community through all of this. And by getting to know us a little bit more, we are building our community, and we enjoy doing this stuff because we love the fact that we get to connect with people on a different level. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you follow us and you've watched this video, I want to open this up to people that may not even have a YouTube page. I know that we have a lot of people that watch our videos that don't have a YouTube page. Even if you're growing in your backyard and you follow us just via Facebook, I would challenge you guys to participate in this and just share with the community some of your wins and losses. Thank you guys so much for watching. We look forward to sharing more with you soon.